Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, it's another Friday. Please kindly confirm to me that you can hear me and you can see me before we go on to this session. Thank you so much for joining me. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I can see Sister Fatima. Thank you so much for joining me. Good evening. Please kindly confirm to me that you can hear me before we go on to this session. Thank you so much. Let's see. Can you tell me where you're joining me from? I would love to hear from you. Can you tell me where you're joining me from? I would really love to hear from you while we wait a bit for others to join us. Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Can you tell me where you're joining me from? Okay, so we'll go on with the session without wasting more time. I'm going to start recording the session now so that those who are going to join us later would be able to listen, or those who are going to join us, those who are going to come and take a listen would be able to listen to it, right? So give me just few minutes, then we'll go on with today's session, inshallah. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, before we go on, kindly share the link with other parents in your circle. Kindly help us to share this on your WhatsApp status and every other place where parents are. Let them also come and benefit from this session. This is something that I would really appreciate, to reach more parents and for them to be equipped with the skills to actually handle their children, to deal with their children, to deal with stress and frustration this holiday period. So please kindly share this with other parents and let them also come and, let them also come and join us. Thank you so much for joining me once again, Sister Fatima. So we'll go on with the session without wasting more time. Right, I can see that you're raising your hand. Please kindly just join the discussion room on the group. All you have to do is click on a particular message on the group and join the discussion room to drop your message. Thank you so much for joining me, Sister Amina. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So yes, we're going to go on without wasting time on today's topic, which is how to cope with parental stress and frustration this holiday, right? And by the end of this, by the end of this session, you'd have been equipped with, the tools, yes, that you're going to actually use to, deal with the children this holiday in order for you to cope with whatever stress or whatever frustration that, that might come your way, to reduce frustration and to create a more peaceful and enjoyable holiday experience, right? So we'll go on without wasting more time, right? So now, parental stress is something that is very common to most parents, right? It's just that moment whereby you feel that you have failed as a parent, or you feel that you can't cope anymore. You just want to run away. You feel like things are not going the way it should go, and it just feels like you want to run away. It just feels like you don't want to have anything to do with your children. Have you ever been in that situation before? Share with me. You just find yourself in that place whereby you feel like, oh my God, I can't just cope with this anymore, right? This is something that it will definitely happen on our journey, and it can be so intense because a lot of the time, like I say, we were not prepared for this journey. We were not prepared for this journey. All of us just found ourselves, we got married, we started giving birth without knowing that there are actually things that we need to put into our toolkits. Yes, into our parenting toolkits that we have to go with, right? That would have made the journey more easier and a smooth journey for us, right? So we need to know that it's that period when you feel like you can't cope anymore. The point where you just want to leave everything and just, you want to take off, you want to run away. So this is something that so many people have experienced. This is something that I have experienced before. I remember that when I narrate my story of what pushed me into learning more about parenting and into teaching it to other people. It's not a palatable story, but alhamdulillah for where I am today, right? That particular story has actually turned so many things around for me personally, right? So it's a point where I have been also. And not until when I started learning, when I started unlearning, when I started relearning, not until when I started doing all of those things, until when I started building, the needed muscle for me to actually deal with my children. Not until that time that I started finding parenting as something enjoyable, as something that doesn't have to be, stressful, that doesn't have to be frustrating, right? So, which means that, a lot of the time people come to sessions like this with the intention that they are coming to get tips and hacks. Hello, I'm sorry. I wish that there was tips and hacks that we can, once you do this, you get this. Once you do this, I wish there was one too. But fortunately, there is none, right? Which means that we need to cope with, we need to just, as we go on, we need to learn, we need to unlearn, we need to unlearn those things that we've learned in the past that are no longer serving us, right? This is something that we need to know. So, not until when I started learning, not until when I started relearning, not until when I started unlearning, I couldn't do better. And that's just the truth. You can't do better, not until when you know better. And that's why I brought up that, that saying sometimes last year, that not until when you know better. When you know better, you do what? You do better. But I can tell you for a fact that equipping yourself with the right tools and skills, it's something that actually helps. It helps you to start to build you with the intention of doing better, right? So when you equip yourself with the right skills, when you equip yourself with the right resources, you find yourself that you start doing better, right? So with the intention of doing better, it will help you a lot on this journey. This is something that you need to know, right? So you need to know that you're not doing this just for doing its sake, but you're doing it because, and one thing that I love to say is that if you're serious with your parenting, if you're intentional with the way you parent your children, you'll find out that it makes you a better person first before you start rubbing off on your children. That's just the truth. You'll find out that you also want to do things better. On our WhatsApp community, we're talking about, a particular artist's daughter who a video has gone viral for some days now, whereby she was giving tips about how to read how to I've forgotten the exact title, but from what he was saying, that one way or the other, this child has learned something about about Islam, about our religion. And the person who happens to be this child's father is someone who is not well known for uprightness, right? Let me put it that way. It's someone who is not well known for uprightness. And we were just sharing in the community, so many people said so many things, ranging from, a lot of the time, people want their children to do better than them, right? They want their children to do better than them. And that's why, this particular artist is also doing the same thing for his daughter, right? It's just being pronounced because he's a popular person, right? He's someone who is popular. That's why this particular thing is pronounced. Then I came in, I gave my own opinion that that's exactly why we have challenges when it comes to parenting. A lot of the time, we want our children to emulate. We want them to embody the things that we ourselves can't even embody. We expect from our children what we can't even give. And that's exactly what causes problem. So the truth is, if our children are very young and we continue like this, we keep going on like this, we want them to do the things that we do not do. We want them to memorize the Quran. We want them to have that habit of reading. We want them to have that good habit of studying and all of those things. And we ourselves have not disciplined ourselves enough to actually have those characteristics. The truth is, as our children begin to grow, they get to a stage whereby they are going to be smelling hypocrisy. You know what I mean by that? They are going to be smelling hypocrisy, like, you want me to do certain things that you are not doing. You're telling me that this is the way, but you are not passing that way. You're not going through that way. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's why it is said that children do not rebel against authority. They actually rebel against hypocrisy. So if you are not doing something and you expect that your child should do that thing, you have to prove to your child why your child have to do that thing. Because if you can't do that, then there's going to be a problem. Your child is definitely going to rebel when that time comes. That's just the truth. Except if Allah has just guided that child. That's just it, right? So it is something that we know that we ourselves, before we can find ourselves in that place whereby we are actually parenting the way we should parent, we are doing the right thing, we ourselves need to build ourselves. We need to begin that journey of becoming the better version of ourselves. And the truth is, before we can actually, one of the reasons why you won't be able to raise children to, be better off than you is because you don't, there's nothing. You cannot give what you don't have. The only thing you can give is what you have. If you don't have it, you can't give it. And that's just the truth. If you do not have it, then you can't give it. So you need to have it first for you to be able to give it. That's just it. I would appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. You need to have it before you can give it, right? So I can tell you for a fact that equipping yourself with the right tools and skill set and starting to build yourself, with the intention of doing better will help you a whole lot on this journey. It is a journey of reparenting yourself. Reparenting yourself is something that you can't do without as a parent. Because why are you doing this? You want to be in that space whereby you sieve the shaft from the grain. So you need to go on that journey of reparenting yourself, because if you don't, unfortunately, nothing will change. It is not a thing of tips and hacks, like I said, but building a system that actually lasts. Like I said from the beginning, when it comes to parenting, there are no tips and hacks. You can't say that, hey, you saw this on Instagram, you saw this on Facebook, you saw this, because you have to go through the journey of understanding who you are raising, knowing who you are raising. A lot of the time, when you want to follow the tips and the hacks that I shared, it might not work for you because you don't have the same type of, child. Thank you so much, Miss Amina. Right? You can't actually, you can't be in that place whereby it will work for you. Why? Because you have different personalities. So you have to be in that place whereby you understand your own child. You understand that this is what works for my child. You understand your child's learning style. You understand your child's temperament. You understand your child's love language, right? And that's when you can begin to put many things into perspective, right? So it is not a thing of tips and hacks. It is something that you have to build the system. And this is something that I have noticed, which is why we said that, okay, yes, we are launching our accountability system. We are going to have that community. Yes, that's already the vision. We are going to start that community whereby we are going to be taking parents through that step of actually holding their hands through reparenting themselves while raising their children. Yes, this is something that can be done, right? So I found that a lot of times, so many parents just shout, it's overwhelming and all of those things. But then we need to know that there are no tips and hacks. There are no tips and hacks. If tips and hacks are the things that we're actually looking for, we need to know that we can't get them. And even if we get them, there's every possibility that it won't work for us. And that's why a lot of the time you see so many parents say things like, all of these things do not work, right? All of these things do not work. Intentional, gentle, people call it gentle parenting, but I tell them it's not gentle parenting, it's actually intentional parenting, or we say purposeful parenting, right? So tips and hacks will not work. Go and look at the people that actually complain about the whole of these things. You see that there is no built system which is actually helping them to put all of these things into perspective, right? So parenting stress comes with a lot of high demand. Yes, it definitely comes with high demand. For yourself, your body will demand, your children will demand, and for the fact that your own body is demanding does not mean that your child is not going to demand. That's why they are child. Right, I have a mentor who will tell you that you have to do the work because they didn't tell you to bring them into this world, and that is the truth. That is the truth. So we need to be able to do the work. So it comes with high demand, and sadly, a lot of us do not have that resources to meet those demands. And this is one of those things that pushed me into doing this. I found out that there's a vacuum already. There's this gap that needs to be filled. When I started my journey, I found it very difficult to actually find someone who I can model, who I can say that, okay, yes, I am looking at this person and I am doing exactly what they are doing. So it's something that is very, very difficult. It's something that is not easy, right? So because we do not have the resources to meet those demands, it can be stressful. It can be frustrating. So the journey of parenting is a very emotional journey. It is very emotional. I will explain to you why I said that it is very emotional. It is emotional in the sense that you find out that, today you have a baby, and you're so happy that you have a baby, right? Wa alaikum salam, Mr. Fatima. I'm just going through the messages. There's no, if I want to navigate, I have to, close something, right? Before you can give it. Thank you so much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Mamina. Thank you so much for joining us. Right. So yes, I'll go on again. Right, Miss Ikma, thank you so much for joining. Right. So the journey of parenting, like I was explaining, is an emotional journey. Today you have a child. Even before you have a child, that pregnancy comes and you're like, wow, alhamdulillah, it came, and all of those things. The child comes and you're so happy. You're the happiest human on earth. Like, alhamdulillah, so many people have been looking for this. They didn't get, some even had and couldn't, survive the labor room and all of those things. So the joy is there. The happiness is there, right? The fulfillment is there. Then quickly, all of a sudden, it can come with big emotions again. It can come with very big emotions. I remember, I've never shared something like this before. I remember that, when I had my first child, of course, I was very happy. Like, I was really happy. And my mom came to me, and she was with me for some time, I think for like 40 days and all of that. And when she was about leaving, I started crying. Who has been in that shoes before? I started crying, and I was just like, oh my God, apart from even postpartum depression and all of those things, I was worried. And when I was being asked what exactly is wrong, I just told, what I said was that this baby that I have with me, I don't even know how to take care of this baby. That's what I said. Like, I don't even know how to take care of this baby. And I remember my mom saying something like, don't worry, alone, Tomo, alone, Mabaeto. That courage. She just gave that word of encouragement, like, má worry, alone, Tomo, alone, Mabaeto. I'm so sorry for, is there any non-Yoruba speaker here? So she was just trying to encourage me, saying that there was nobody who went to school to learn about how to actually raise a child, right? And that word of encouragement was there. And that's why I said that parenting comes with a lot of emotions. So I was really sad, like, not sad because I had a baby, but sad because I didn't know how to navigate all of those things. I was very young. I gave birth very, very early after I wedded, right? So it came with joy. Then later it came with sadness too. Yes, there's nothing I want to call it. It's sad because I was sad, like, I don't even know how to navigate raising this child, right? And sometimes it comes with guilt and it comes with hate. Yes, it comes with hatred. Have you ever seen a situation whereby you're just worried and your child has done something, and instead of you to deal with whatever it is that is making you to lash out, you start saying something like, you caused it, and not left far. If not for you, I would have gone past this. In a situation whereby you want to take a particular course, you want to move further in your career, you want to do certain things. You see some of your friends who are meeting out, maybe in the same city. They are doing all of those things together, and then you feel like, if not because of these children, if I didn't have these children, then I won't miss out on this. You understand what I'm saying? It can also come with that hatred that you just resent that child. That you won't tell them directly, but then inside of you, something is telling you that if not for these children, maybe you would have done this, maybe you'd have done this. And that's why I said that it comes with lots of emotions, right? Sometimes it can be guilt. Yes, guilt in the sense that if you are in that space whereby you still hit your children, you still do certain things for them, there are certain times that you do all of those things, you carry out all of those things, then you not start feeling guilty. And I have beaten this child too much. I think what I felt when I started this journey was the feeling of guilt. I had the feeling of guilt, that of sadness that came all over me before I started on this journey. I was so sad to the extent that I was crying, my child was crying. And there was no one around to help. There was no one around to, even if there was someone around to help, I knew that I needed to deal with this thing. I like to tell people that when people meet me, my friends from university and all of those things, they'll tell you, you're this sweet person, you're this, you're that. So when I found myself eating my just barely a year plus old, I just started looking at myself like, no, you shouldn't be a monster because you're actually raising children. You should not be a monster because you are raising your child. You should actually be, the best version of yourself. Because if not for anything, because you know that your child are modeling you. It is whatever it is that you do that your child is going to do. It is not what you say. Even if they listen to what you say till a particular time, a time will come whereby they won't listen to you again. The only thing they will do is, and it's not as if they're doing it purposefully. They are just seeing it. They're just seeing it. I did just a short, practical for people. I think it's on my Instagram page, whereby I was showing people how many fingers do we have? How many fingers do we have? And the person was saying, how many fingers do we have in one hand? And the person was saying 10, 10, because I was showing 10, 10, 10, right? And I was saying, how many fingers do we have in one hand? Which is supposed to be 5. But because I was showing 10, the person was saying 10, 10. Not until I said, how many, I was slow. And I said, how many fingers do we have in one hand? Then the person said 5. That's to tell you that children are definitely going to do what you do rather than what you say, right? So it is an emotional journey. And that's why I tell people that when it comes to being emotionally intelligent, it is at the heart of parenting. You can't intentionally raise your children if you are not emotionally intelligent, because there are times whereby you want to spoil your children where you're not supposed to spoil them. There are times whereby you want to just lash out on them because you feel that they've done something wrong. And that's why we have to be emotionally intelligent on this journey, right? So this moment you're happy of having your baby, like I said. Another moment you just think of so many things. You start thinking of, yes, my colleagues, my mates. Yes, that's the word that we use. My mate is having a particular thing, but I don't have it. You have that feeling of hatred, of guilt again, right? So you first of all need to know that parental stress and frustration is not caused by your children. I will appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. Parental stress and frustration is not caused by your children. I would love to read that. Parental stress and frustration is not caused by your children. Let me see who will help me to put that in the comment section. You need to know, first of all, because if you do not admit that parental stress and frustration is not caused by your children, you still keep putting it on your children, and you are going to be doing the wrong thing. Right? Thank you so much, Ms. Ikma. Parental stress and frustration is not caused by your children. It's not caused. You wrote it's caused. It's okay. I know it's a mistake. Right? It's not caused by your children. Right? But it's all about you not properly prepared for the journey. And just like I gave myself as an example, a lot of us are not prepared for the journey. We just found ourselves raising children. Right? Yes, it's not caused by our children, because a lot of us are not properly prepared for the journey. So if you want to show this, the moment you feel, if you want to, be sure, if you want to know that, okay, yes, whatever stress, whatever frustration that I am going through right now, it's not because my child is crying. It's not because my child is crying. Is trying to request for what he or she needs, and the way that she can do it is to actually cry. Right? So the moment you feel triggered and you want to hit, you want to lash out, you want to yell, or you want to do certain things, I want you to calm down. Take a moment. Ask yourself, what exactly is fueling this trigger? Ask yourself, just take your time to ask that question. What exactly is fueling this trigger? This is something that has worked for me a lot of time. I've constantly been in that place. I speak with myself a lot. I ask myself questions a lot. What exactly is fueling this trigger? What exactly is going on? What exactly is wrong? You'll find out that maybe something has happened in your place of work. Maybe your business is not moving the way it should move. Maybe you are hungry. Maybe you are tired. Maybe something. There would be an underlying cause. So each time you feel that this child is just doing this, and you want to hit, you want to lash out, you want to be in that place where you're shouting, even if they are adult children, you have that control over yourself, over whatever it is that you do. You have a control over it. So you want to step back a bit and ask yourself, what exactly is fueling this trigger? Because until you take responsibility for the reason, why you are triggered, nothing is going to change until you take responsibility for whatever it is that is triggering you. Until you take responsibility for, okay, yes, I should be responsible for learning about how to actually deal with children. Because like I love to say, that children are not giving to us damaged. Allah is not giving children to us damaged. They have been created perfectly by Allah. Allah did not give them to us damaged. And when I say perfectly, of course, I'm not saying that they are perfect. Of course, we all know that no one is perfect. But Allah didn't give us our children. Allah didn't give them to us damaged. So the question is, we are the one that have gone through a lot of things that we really need to deal with. And if we do not take responsibility for that, then we are going to make a mess of our journey. We're going to make a mess of our children. Like I posted, I was just scrolling through my phone, and I saw a post that I have posted a very long time ago, that like a trained surgeon, you have to be trained. You have to be equipped to actually nurture your children so that you don't cause a major damage, right? So for you to raise children who can actually manage themselves, who can manage their feelings, who can trust others, who have empathy, who have compassion. The truth is, a lot of the time, there's no, like, we have moved into that. It's not as if we are moving into it. We have moved into that world whereby there is no empathy, there is no compassion. You see, we see certain news, and I just start thinking about it, like, who raised these children? What exactly is going on? We live in that world whereby there's no empathy, there's no compassion. Because if you actually look at it, a lot of the time we want to attach this to, to kidnappers or to people who do rituals and all of that. But let's take it from even the subtlest thing, the tiniest thing, with the way we deal with our children. You can imagine your child is feeling hurt and your child is crying. Your child is crying. And the highest you can do, the best you can do, is to actually say, keep quiet there, or I'll give you more reasons to cry. Wait, there's something I want to know. Do you think if a child is feeling all good and, everything is going rosy for that child will cry? We can want to attribute it to big, big things that happens, but let's take it from the smallest things of dealing with our children. A child who is crying and you feel that whatever it is that he or she is crying for does not make sense to you. And we said that empathy is being able to put yourself into your children's shoes. You want to ask yourself, if I am in this child's situation, what exactly am I going to feel? How exactly am I going to be feeling? So for you to actually raise children who can manage themselves, who can manage their feelings, who can trust others, we are in that world where people tell you, don't trust anybody, don't trust anybody, don't trust anybody. But the truth is, if you yourself have trust issues, then there's a problem. Then something has happened while you were growing up. And that's why you find it difficult to trust. We still have very good people out there. So if you still find yourself in a situation whereby, you are still finding it difficult to actually, give room for all of those things, to actually put all of those things in perspective, like I said, you won't be able to give it to your children because you can't give what you do not have. So if you're in that place whereby that child, you can't manage that child, you yourself can't even manage yourself, then there's every possibility that you can raise children who can also manage themselves, who can manage their feelings, who can trust others, who have compassion, who have empathy. So now we need to retrace our steps and begin to do better. And how can we do better? There's no way we can do better except when we know better. When we know better, we will do better. So we need to first of all know that whatever it is, whatever stress that we are going through, whatever frustration that we're going through, it is not caused by our children. It is caused by something. There's an underlying cause to it. So when I was preparing for this lesson, I was thinking about it like, maybe so many people are going to turn up for this session because a lot of the time we just want that fast thing that is going to solve our problem. But the truth is, we need to follow through the system, like I have said. So now, how do we now begin to cope with this parental stress and frustration? The truth is that the whole of the list that I am going to be giving today is not something you do in one day and you say you have done it. It's not something that will actually stop stress and frustration during this holiday. Because what differentiates the holiday period from normal period is the fact that your children probably spend more time with you than before. So you're unable to escape. Sorry. You're unable to escape. right? So it is not tips, it is not hard. It is not something you will do now, and you get result now. If that is what you are looking for, sorry, maybe this session is not for you. And that's the truth. Like I said, that I wish that there are tips and hacks. I wish that there are certain things that we can quickly do fast, and we'll keep getting the results that we want. But the truth is, as far as you are now in this, as far as you are on this journey, as far as you have started raising children, there are no tips and hacks. Forget it. You just have to learn. You just have to keep learning. You have to keep on learning. You have to keep relearning. So the list that I am going to be giving today is not a ustaza or ustaz sharp something. No. Right, so let's get right into it. How to begin to cope with this parental stress and frustration. And the first thing that I will always say is that we need to learn effective skills to help you scale smoothly. I'd appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. Learn effective skills to help you scale smoothly. Learn effective skills to help you scale smoothly. Like I shared today, right, on my social media handle, that a lot of the time as Muslims, we feel that because we have that connection, we have that connection with Allah, because we are righteous, because we are pious, then everything should fall in place for us. No, it's not going to happen that way. Right, so I was actually sharing, we feel that, okay, because a child has memorized the whole of the Quran, because that child is already in this particular, this particular space, then everything is going to, they won't have behavioral issues, they won't have feelings, they won't have crushes, they won't hide from us and all of those things. No, it doesn't work. For our children to be able to be in that space, we need to teach them the skills that they actually need to navigate life. But then, like I said, going back, we can't give it if we do not have it. So we ourselves need to learn effective skill that can help us to scale smoothly. Parenting with peace, parenting with calm, it requires that we learn the skills, no tips and hacks, like I said. And the truth is that if you do not learn the skill, there's every possibility, if you do not learn, not even skill, if you do not learn the skills, there's every possibility that you'll be a cane wielding parent. You just want any little thing, cane, any small thing, cane. If even if we're not seeing cane, any other thing that can just do the work around us, we pick it. If you do not learn the skills that is necessary for you to actually put things into perspective and for your journey to go smoothly, if we do not learn those skills, we'll continue to be stressed and we'll continue to be frustrated. Are you with me? We'll continue to be stressed and we'll continue to be frustrated. That's just it. So it is two things. It's either we learn the skills that are going to help us on this journey, or we keep wielding our cane. And the choice is ours. Yes, as parents, the choice is ours. If you decide to learn the skill that will help you to actually raise wholesome children, the choice is ours. If we want to continue to wield cane such that, we get the result of actually damaging our children actually following instructions only when we are there, and only when we are, only when we are around, and they are doing the wrong thing when we are not there, the choice is ours. So if you are a cane-wielding parent, if you are a parent who shouts, if you are a parent who is always everywhere, there's no how, you will always be stressed. You'll always be frustrated because your child is not learning. Your child is not learning. You're just inflicting pain. You're just shouting. You're not communicating, which is one of the skills, right? So if you have to shout, wield cane, before your children listen or do the things that they're expected to do, you should know that something is missing on your journey. I would appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. If you have to shout, if you have to hold a cane, if you have to, do things that will not be mutually respectful, is that the word? That is not, there's no mutual respect. If you have to do other things to actually get your children to listen to you or to do certain things that they're expected to do, you should know that there's something missing on your parenting journey. Something is missing. You need to fill in whatever it is that is missing. I tell you, if you have to do all of those things, something is missing. I tell you, this is something that I can tell you over and over. It is, my children have been with me for some time now. And this particular holiday period, I looked at it very well. And I said, okay, what exactly do I need for these children to wake by themselves? If you're someone who, look at my WhatsApp status, I actually shared the alarm clock. And once the alarm sound, I will hear the sound. But because I am trying to figure out something, I am trying to help them to learn something, I won't stand up. But then, after like 10, 15 minutes before I stand up, my children are up. Apart from the smallest one who is with me, they are up. They are not just up. They are up doing the things that they are expected to do. The eldest is just 7. You will be 8 by September. So if you're in that place whereby you're always shouting, always running out as skater, always nagging, the neighbors are hearing your voice, before your children actually do something, there's something missing on your journey, I tell you. So you need to actually find out whatever it is that is missing and start to do something about it. So we need to first accept that torture, a lot of the time, we give ourselves excuses. Yes, of course, we give ourselves excuses of, this was what was done to me, and we turned out okay. This is what happened. We went through all of those things. Hey, don't beat your child. Don't shout at them. Don't do this. Don't do that. All of these things actually, they did it to us and we turned out okay. That's the excuses that we give to ourselves. But it's not true. I tell people we did not turn out okay. There are so many things that we're struggling with as adults now that if I actually turned out okay, we shouldn't be struggling with it. I tell you, there are so many things that we struggle with as adults right now that if we actually turned out okay, like we said, we turned out okay, we shouldn't be struggling with it. So we need to know that, and we need to accept that whatever it is that we have gone through, the torture, the hurt, the emotional blackmail that we went through as children, it wasn't normal. It was not normal. It was not normal. The prophet didn't exhibit all of those things, and he had children around him. There is no single hadith of the Rasul, that peace be upon him, that says that he was actually a cane wielder for children. There is no, rather we had a hadith of the Rasul that said that was reported by Anas, that he spent 10 years with the prophet, and during those 10 years, the prophet didn't say, why did you do this or why didn't you do this? That's who our role model is, right? And that's to tell you that the whole of those torture, the whole of those hurt, they are not normal. So let us not normalize it. Let us not use it as excuses anymore. We are all on a journey. I am still on a journey also. It is better for us to accept that, okay, yes, there's something I'm not doing right. I am on a journey of growth. I am on a journey of doing better, and I'll keep trying. Rather than giving ourselves excuses that those things were done to us and we turned out okay. The moment you say something like that, it means that you have a fixed mindset and you are not ready to right the wrongs. And if you are in that space, it means that you are not giving space for growth. You are not giving opportunity for growth. You just want to be stagnant, and it's rubbing off on your children. So they were not normal. So you need to decide to walk a better path. Even if you grew up and your parents were not cane wielders, they were not, they didn't shout, they didn't do. The thing is, we can always do better. Our parents even want this, and that's what we also want. We want our children to be able, to be better than us, to act better than us, to do better than us. That's what we want. So which means that there is still lots of opportunity for growth. Are you getting value from this session? Please, I beg of you, share this link with other parents. Let them also come and learn from this session as we go on, please. So we need to understand that parenting without stress, it required learned skills. I'd appreciate if someone can help me put that in the comment section. Parenting without stress requires learned skills, right? So fortunately, unfortunately, the parents of children who wielded cane and those who didn't, but did the learnings, they follow through, they tried as much as possible, they read books, they attend courses, they're always in that place whereby they know that, okay, yes, when I am here, one way or the other, I'm going to take something away, I'm going to learn. The truth is, both groups of parents, we want the same results. Yes, we want the same results. We want, like I said, we have the best of intentions. Those who are wielding cane, those who are shouting, those who are nagging, who are everywhere, they are doing it with the right intention too. They want their children to be better. They want their children to be good. But the truth is, we can't do it from the place of fear. We need to face our fears. That's just the truth. We want want the same results, but unfortunately, we can't get the same result. It can't be the same. It's definitely going to be different. So the moment you do not have the right skill set, you'll be stressed and you'll be frustrated. So like I said from the beginning, it's just like, we're trying to frame it now. Your children are not the ones that are stressing you. They are not the ones that are making you feel frustrated. It is your lack of resources to actually deal with, situations that has to do with raising your children. And for you to be able to actually gather the whole of those resources that you need to learn. You need to be in the place of learning new skills that you are going to actually use to navigate all of these things. So if you're in that WhatsApp group of people who insinuate that if you do not beat your children, they won't be responsible. We have people say things like that. Yes, we have people that say things like that. If you don't beat them, they will not listen. If you don't do this, they will not listen. If you're in that WhatsApp group, please leave there, because even the self-fulfilling words that you use is also rubbing off on you. If I don't do this, they won't be responsible. If you do not do this, they won't be useful. Please exit that WhatsApp group. It's a myth that needs to be dispelled. Your beliefs are not making you to grow. Your belief. So before you can even say that you want to go and listen to something, or you want to be in a particular space, you need to first of all have that belief that that thing that you're going to listen to is something that is actually going to work for you. This is something that is very important. Yes, we have heard also that there are certain hadiths of the Rasul that speaks about beating or not beating and all of those things. But the question I like to ask people is that, what exactly have you done before you get to that stage? What have you put in place as a parent? What disciplinary measure have you put in place first before you be in that space whereby you wield cane? Children are definitely going to face their consequences, and that's also a form of discipline. But I like to ask, what have you put in place? What exactly have you put in place as a parent before you get to that stage? So if you're in that WhatsApp group, please exit too, because if you do not exit, you keep having that mindset that, yes, if I do not do something hurtful for my children, then they are not going to listen. They are not going to turn out well. They are not going to be responsible. And that particular mindset is not something that is making you grow. So you are not growing. You need to know this. What are these skills that we need to learn? Communication skills, effective disciplinary skills, emotional intelligence. And the truth about all of these things is that if it does not tell me all of these skills that we need to deal with our children to actually become, they are also the same skill set that we need to put into anything that we're doing if we want to be successful at it. If I lie, tell me. The whole of these skills that we're saying that we need to have to deal with our children are the same set of skills that we need to actually succeed in whatever it is that we do. Think about it. I've spoken about communication skills. If you work for somebody and you don't know how to communicate, that person will lose customers. If you don't have emotional intelligence, any little thing, you're flying, you're jumping, you're this, you cannot hold an organization. You cannot run an organization effectively. You cannot run an organization successfully. If you cannot control yourself, if you don't have self-control, if you don't have delayed gratification, a situation whereby you're able to delay whatever it is, whatever gain that you want to get now, if you do not have it, there's going to be a problem. So think about it. All of those skills that you actually need to deal with your children, to parent them intentionally, they are also the same skill sets that you need to put into whatever it is that you do for you to be successful at it. Think about it. Communication, being disciplined first of all for yourself before you say you want to teach it to your children. Self-control, delayed gratification. They are skills that you yourself, you need to succeed in whatever it is that you do as a person. So, and that's why I tell you that the more you try as much as possible to be a better person, to be a better version of yourself, the more you are going to also, you rub it off on your children, and you see the more you want to raise your children to be a better version of themselves, and you're working that part intentionally, it will rub off on you first before it rubs off on your children. I think I've overflowed that. The second point that I'm going to be talking about is that you need to be careful how you pay attention to negatives. I'd appreciate if someone can help people that in the comment section. That's the second point. Be careful how you pay attention to the negatives. Be careful how you pay attention to the negatives. You see, Stress zones, is zoned in on bad stuff. The things that actually causes you stress, they are usually things that come from, from bad stuffs, from bad things, right? So you need to train yourself to pay attention to the positive almost every time. This is something that we have noticed. Growing up, our parents were always talking about the things we were not doing right, forgetting about the things that we're even doing well. So it's always one of, you don't know how to do this, there's nothing you can do, there's this, and the truth about all of these things is that what you pay attention to actually grows. It is what you pay attention to that grows. So is a lot of the time we hear parents say things like, you're a liar, you're always lying, there's nothing you know how to do, there's nothing you can do, he doesn't know how to do anything, he's so lazy, he's so this, he's so that. Yes, a lot of us that are also, a lot of people that come out and say that, okay, yes, you can actually do, it's not as if they are not experiencing these things with their children also. It's not as if they are not doing it. And that's why I told somebody, I said that when you journal, especially when, I want to just give this tip of gratitude journaling. If you are someone who actually journals, who does gratitude journaling, it helps you to focus on the positive things. And it is what you focus on, that is what grows. So you want to be careful on how you pay attention to negative things. He's so lazy, he doesn't listen, he's stubborn, he's naughty. This is something we say, things like that. That's what we mostly pay attention to. So if you actually want to be in that place whereby you are not stressed, you are not always frustrated, you are not always overwhelmed, you need to start focusing on the positive. Be careful with your beliefs and your biases. They can easily become self-fulfilling words. So phrases like, if I don't beat my child, he won't listen. If I don't beat them, they will not be responsible. They will be irresponsible. They will not be disciplined. If I don't torture them, they will not listen. If I don't do this, they will do that. Be careful of those things, because they're actually becoming self-fulfilling words for you. You will just find out that that's exactly what is happening. And that's why you come and complain again. Yes, this thing is not working. This thing does not work. It does work. The question is, what exactly are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Be careful of the things that you say about your children. He's very stubborn, he's very naughty. Just be careful of them. Don't use those words. Mothers use words that are positive towards their children. Your words become your child's inner voice. Your words becomes your child's inner voice. If you assume the worst, you will provoke negative behavior from other people. If you assume the worst, you provoke negative behavior from other people. And that's exactly it. So you want to be careful of the things that you pay attention to. The next point, our time is running off. Deal with any form of trauma or abuse which you have gone through. A lot of the time, just like I gave example from the beginning, not from the beginning, in the middle of this class, that a lot of the time we want to give ourselves excuses and say something like, they did it to us, we turned out okay, we went all of these things and we turned out and all of those things. But the truth is, we need to, first of all, we need to be in that place whereby if we know that we are traumatized of something, we want to deal with it. If we know that we have been abused of something, we want to deal with it. How do you do it? Expose yourself to knowledge. It's as easy as that. If you know that these things are so deep that they are affecting your relationship, maybe with your spouse, with your children, and all of those things, go for therapy. All of these things, when we say go for therapy, is not for people who are mentally derailed or something. No, because they will always show up even when you don't want them to. Have you found yourself in that situation whereby you say something like, I'm not, I don't like to beat my children, or maybe while you were growing up, you say something like, all of these things that I experienced with my parents or with my guardian, with the person that raised me, I'm not going to do the same thing, and you find yourself doing the same thing. It's very possible. Think about it. You find yourself doing the same thing, and that's why I said that it's a lot of emotions. Then you start feeling guilty. So you start saying, you see certain things and you be like, no, I can never be like this parent. I can never act like this. But at the end of the day, you do the same thing because you have not dealt with your trauma. You have not dealt with your abuse. And this holiday season is a perfect time for you to actually know what exactly is wrong and for you to actually deal with it, because your children are more with you right now. If you have not sent them to summer school, because I know that a lot of parents, that's like their rescue mission. Abi, how do I say it? The route that they use to rescue, right? So if you don't deal with them, they will keep showing up, even if you do not want them to show up. So these experiences are lying in our subconscious. The whole of those abuse and those traumatic experiences, they are in our subconscious. So even if you are consciously saying, I'm not going to do this, they are in your subconscious. And that's why it's called intentional. You know that, yes, this thing can happen, but you have that capability to say you want to control yourself, not to act based on whatever it is that you're just going through. You want to think through it before you actually act. They are lying in our subconscious. So we need to know that if we do not deal with it, parenting characteristics are reflective. And if you don't deal with them, they will deal with you. If you do not deal with those things that you have experienced, they will deal with you. They will not just deal with you, it will rub off on your children. So if you don't deal with the parental abuse that you have experienced, they will mess up your journey. They will definitely mess up your journey, because they are going to be that tool. They are going to be those tools that you will use, that your children would not be able to even confide in you. That relationship that you want to build with your children, you will not be able to build it with them. That's the whole of those things dealing with you if you do not deal with them. To deal with any form of trauma or abuse that you have gone through, don't act like they are not there, because they are right there in your subconscious. So the thought of your abuse is going to activate your stress circuit. The thought of your abuse, have you found yourself in a situation whereby your child is clamoring for something, your child is asking for something, you can give that thing, but you say something like, it's not your fault. During my own time, did I even see somebody to give me all of these things? No, that's it. It will show up. You have it, you can give it. It's not as if you are using it to spoil your child. It's a need for your child. And you start saying something like, during my own time, did I even see someone to give me this? Did I even see someone to help me through this? That's it. That's it. It will show up. Whatever abuse that you have gone through, they will definitely come. So if you have that capability of doing something for your child, you find yourself in that space whereby you're just denying your child of that thing for no reason. Maybe because you didn't get it when you were young, or you overdo it. You overdo it. Because you didn't get it when you were young, you have to give it to your child, and you overdo it for your child. A situation whereby maybe you are not even allowed to rest. The people that raise you are not even your parents, and you're always doing one thing or the other. You wash plates, you wash clothes, you sweep, you mop, you do this, and you're always tired. You find yourself excusing your children that are supposed to, they are supposed to catch young, to do house chores, to do certain things. You find out that you won't allow them to do it. Why? Because your trauma is traumatizing you. Because you feel that if you do that, if you expose them to chores and you allow them to do all of those things, you feel that you're abusing them because you've gone through something like that in the past. I don't know if you understand me. That's exactly what happens. So if you do not deal with all those traumas, all those abuse, they will show up, they will deal with you. And they will not allow you to put things into perspective. You will either do more, you either do less, way less, or you do too much for your children, or you won't even do for them at all. That's exactly what happens. So you want to actually deal with every of those things, right? So a little trigger, an angry moment will make you to overreact. That's exactly it. So deal with it. I think that's the third point, right? The next one is focus on the positive, the good. This is just like the second one that we spoke about, right? Still focus on the positive. You see, I like to use practical example. If you're working under a boss, and that boss, you've done something, and that boss came in and said, oh my God, wow, Mrs. So, you did this so well. Wow, that's wonderful. What happens? That feeling, you have that feeling of, oh my God, so he was actually happy that I did this thing. Oh my God, I'm going to do more. He recognized the fact that I did it. And, that encouragement, that word of, what's the word now? I can't place my hand on the word right now. But the bottom line is, that person has acknowledged the fact that you did this thing well. What happens? You will want to do more of that thing. It's the same thing for children. When you focus on the positive, your child has done something, you said, oh my God, it doesn't cost anything. High five. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Oh my God. And that child, that means you're focusing on the positive. But if you are focusing on the negative, that is what is going to grow. Focus on the positive so that what you focus on is going to grow. What you focus on is what grows. The plant that you water is the one that germinates. Right? The next point, create more time for the things that are important to you. Create more time for the things that are important to you. A lot of the time we find out that we are stressed, we are frustrated because we ourselves, there's no inner peace. We are not genuinely happy. We don't That inner peace is not there. You want to create time for yourself. You can't pour from an empty jug. It is what you have. That's when you pour. If you're not happy, you cannot pour happiness. If you're always sad, that's what you pour. So you want to take care of yourself first. We call it parenting martyrdom. Don't give in to parenting martyrdom. Hey, my children are my life. My children are this. I have to sacrifice everything for them. No, now, don't sacrifice everything for them. Leave something for yourself also. Because if you don't do that, it's going to tell. You're going to be stressed. You finish cooking. You serve everything that is good for your children, for everyone that is around, and then you will not start eating the burnt part of the pot. No, now. No. No. Care for yourself also. Create more times for the things that are important to you. Yes, good food is important to you. Eat good food. Don't give everything to your children and you not start eating rale rale. You are not hungry. What happens? You'll be stressed. You'll lash out. Things that do not even require that you shout. You start screaming about it. We treat our children like they're our lives and that without them we can't breathe. Nothing is going to happen. Don't forget now, before you started having children, you are a human being. So you want to pay attention to yourself also. From the food that we serve ourselves to the water that you drink to the way you treat ourselves, the way we make out time for ourselves. We have people that even come, this is starting to feel like a master class, but it's okay. We have people that start saying something like, I don't have friends, so my children are my friends. Well, your children are not your friends. Your children are not your friends. Have your own friends. Have time whereby you gist, you talk, you talk about life. Yes, have your own friends. Don't always allow your entire life revolve around your children. Just like we're saying that you should be, if you can't, that's just the simple analog we can give to it. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're not happy, your children can't be. If you don't have it, you can't give it. So pay attention to the things that are important to you. Spend time on the things that brings joy to you, that brings happiness to you. That's when you can actually give to your children. You need to know that your children are not your friend. They're not your friends. They are not your friends. There is friendship in parenting as a tool, but there is no parenting in friendship. I would appreciate if someone can help people that in the comment section. There is friendship in parenting as a tool, but there is no parenting in friendship. There's no parenting in friendship. Right? So if you don't pay attention to yourself on this journey, you will sabotage your parenting journey. If you are in a good mental state, you can manage your children. But if you are not in a good mental state, you will be pushed over the edge and will most likely become, reactive. If you're in a good mental state, awesome. That's when you can give your best. But if you're not in the best mental state, you can't give your best when you're in a poor mental state. Right? So you need to figure out when you can get a bit of time to take care of your own needs and get yourself into a better space. That's when you can actually get your children, your family members, those who depend on you, majorly your children, right? That's when you can also put them in a better space, right? The next point, our time is fast spent, is that you need to have realistic expectations. Have realistic expectations. Understand where your child is in their developmental stage. A lot of the time we set unrealistic expectation. We expect that a 5-year-old will do something perfectly like we do it. We expect that even our 10 years old will do things perfectly. That expectation is not realistic. So we need to have realistic expectation. Your children are still growing. They will pour water. They will scatter things. They would, things will happen. Right? There are going to be boundaries. However, we need to have realistic expectations. Stop holding your children to standards that you yourself can't even hold yourself to. There are certain things we can't do perfectly as humans too, as adults that we have. There are certain things that we're still learning how to do. We're still on that journey of growth. Likewise, our children. So you need to understand your child's developmental stage. Don't expect your 5-year-old to do things perfectly like you are going to do it, even your 12-year-old, because you're still growing. This is something that you need to know. You need to understand your child's developmental stage. The next one, you need to reappraise your process every time your child misbehaves. Right? What do I mean by this? You want to look inward. Your child wasn't giving to you damage. You want to ask yourself, what lesson have I, if your child should misbehave, this child has done something. You want to ask yourself, this is something that I do so much and it helps me. I want to ask before I start blaming that child, I want to ask myself, have I taught this child this thing? Have I taught this child this thing? If I have taught this child, how long have I taught this child? Is it as long as, long to the extent that this child is going to do it perfectly? Have we been able to put things into perspective? Introspect, look within. What exactly am I doing? Reappraise your process if your child misbehaves. What lesson have you not taught this child? What do you need to do for you to get a better result? You need to shape behavior one behavior at a time. How is my child's environment contributing to how they behave? These are the things you want to ask yourself. Don't just always be in that space whereby you blame your child. Any little thing, you blame your child. It's just you. It's just you. You don't listen. You don't do this. You don't do that. How is their environment? How is it affecting them? Or how is it helping them positively? You want to ask yourself. Don't just be a cane wielding parent without doing the main work, right? You see, there's an analogy I like to, use. I like to do to, use to for parents to deeply understand this, right? You put your child in front of in front of a car. You're saying that okay, yes, you have to drive this car, and the child does not know how to drive the car. And you the only thing you can do is you pick in and you start beating. You have to just drive this car. Just drive this car. What happened? You just beat the child to death, and that child will not still drive the car. That's the truth. So you want to ask yourself, this child is misbehaving. What exactly is wrong? What exactly have I not done? What exactly have I done wrong? Ask yourself, right? Seek help. Seek help. Seeking help is not a bad thing. We've seen seeking help as something that is bad. We even sneak to seek help, right? Seek help. It's not a sign of weakness, but that of strength. Never assume that everyone is finding parenting difficult. That's another assumption I don't want us to have. Don't assume that everyone is finding parenting difficult, right? We because of the things we see on the media, because of different things, we want to assume that everyone is finding it difficult. Just do what works for you. It's not true. Some people are not finding it difficult. And like I say, intentional parenting is not stress work. Yes, it is hard work. You will do the work, but you will get the results. You will get the results. Right? Never assume that everyone is finding it difficult. It's not true. People are doing the work and they are seeing the results. Trust me. However, no one can help you better than you are willing to help yourself. You need to stop suffering in silence with the mindset that other parents are also suffering. Stop leaving behavioral issues to pile up. That's a lot of things we do. We just leave it to pile up. We feel that we have done something on the surface. We're not even consistent with whatever it is that we have done. And it keeps piling up. Then children keep growing and the behavioral issues keep piling up without us doing something about it. It doesn't go away. If you do not do the things differently, it only keep getting worse. It only keep getting worse. This is something that I have learned. This is something that I have known. And that's why, we have opened this, this slot for people who want to register. Like I said, you can register with 5,000 naira and, you complete the payment. It's 50,000 naira for a year. And it's an accountability system that is going to hold your hand from January 2026, inshallah, till December 2026, inshallah. Right? It's going to come with book reviews. It's going to come with master classes. It's going to come with webinars. It's going to come with daily voice messages. Yes, this I promise. It's going to come with daily voice messages of the things that you need to put into perspective. It's going to help you to eliminate that overwhelm. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do, because we're actually going to be shaping the behavior of our children one behavior at a time. This is something that I promise in the accountability system. It is now open for you to register. If you register now, like I said, I don't know, I don't want too much people, 20 people, and the slot is going to be closed. Yes, because we want to be able to put things into perspective. I want to be able to follow through and follow up with those that are going to register. I want them to be able, I want to hold their hands to the extent to which they are going to get results, inshallah. Right? So if you want to register for this, if you want to be a part of this community that is going to support you, you can register now with just 5,000 naira. Then you pay the remaining amount till the end of the year, after which we are going to start by January 1st, inshallah, right? So you want to be a part of this, right? The community is where you should be. You should be there. I promise you. That's going to be our own village. When they say that it takes a village to raise a child, that's going to be the village of participants, right? So this is something that you should actually, this is where you should be, I tell you, right? So you want to seek help, right? Help your children to cope with academic stress. If your children are stressed in that area, they are also going to be stressed, because it's going to be it's going to be a roller coaster of everything, right? So you want to be in that space whereby you actually help your children to deal with whatever it is that you want to deal with, right? So if there's academic stress for your children, they will definitely also they'll be stressed, and they will also stress you. And that's why this holiday season is not just a season whereby everything should just go and come. It's a time for you to put so many things into perspective. That result like that child brought home, you don't really like it. And because you've heard LLP say that you should not chastise your children because of their results, you should not do this, you're just quiet, right? The understanding your child learning, your child's unique learning style course is out for parents who want to really understand their children. I was looking for a befitting title for that course, but I didn't see, right? It's going to talk about a lot. It's going to talk about, actually understanding the child that you are raising. It's going to be a lot, I promise you, right? So if you want to, be in that course, it's just 7,500, which is the early bird offer. It comes to an end by 15th of this month. After 15th of this month, it's going back to its original price. It's actually 10,005, but because I want parents to be able, we're going to talk, for those who are just looking into enrolling their children into school, we're going to talk about the things you need to look into before you enroll them into school. The questions you need to ask. A lot of the time, we don't know that we can ask questions, right? So we're going to talk about all of those things. It's a whole lot. So you want to register for that. It's just 7,500 naira. If you want to, be a part of this before August 15. After August 15, the opportunity is going, and it's going back to 10,500. So if you want to be a part of this, please don't take this with levity, right? So you need to know that whatever decision that you make now, it starts with the choices that you make today. It doesn't start when your children becomes teenagers. It doesn't start when your children have grown to a particular extent. We're going to talk about study skills for adult children, for teenagers, for older children, right? In this upcoming understanding your child's unique learning style course, right? So it's something you want to, it's something you want to be a part of it, right? So the last point that we're going to be talking about today is that you need to learn to communicate effectively, right? Communicate effectively. You see, effective communication is not something, like I said, is one of those skills. I just decided to, talk more about it, right, in this session. The lack of ability to communicate in our relationships frustrates us. It stresses us, because you feel that you're communicating, but communication is not what you say. It is actually what the other person receives, right? So if you're a cane-wielding parent, if you're a yelling parent, there's every possibility that it's because you're not communicating effectively. There is no effective communication. And this is something that a lot of us lack. This is something I had to go and learn myself, right? I had to go and learn it. How do I communicate? How exactly do I communicate? Because communication is a whole lot, right? So a lot of the time, we don't want to do the work, and we want to see the results. This is something that we need to start putting into perspective. Effective communication thrives, on active listening. And the question is, if we're complaining that our children are not listening to us, what exactly are we doing? How exactly are we communicating? Are we listening also as parents? This is something that we want to, look into, right? So we need to build skills that help you on your journey. If you put your children in front of a car, like I said, and you tell them to drive, they won't be able to do it if they don't know how to do it. And if you keep beating, there's nothing is going to change. That's just the truth. This is something that I have also experienced. So in conclusion, we have spent like 80 minutes extra. In conclusion, the same way to manage stress and frustration during school days is the same way that you will manage it during holidays, because nothing really has changed. Your child has not changed. Your child still have their temperament, they have their learning style, they have everything. They are still that child, right? You need to know that your child is still that child. They're just the only difference is that they are spending a longer time with you during this holiday. There are no tips and there are no hacks. We just have to do the work. And when we do the work, we'll definitely see the results, right? I would see I'm just going to take 1 or 2 questions. If there are no questions, we're going to call it a session. It's been a wonderful session for me. I'm so glad that we're able to cover everything that we needed to cover. Thank you so much for joining me, Sister Amina, Sister Nima, Sister Nefisa, Sister Tawakat. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to also try as much as possible to share this with other parents, and let them also come and join us every Friday like this whereby we talk about all of these things and we put it into perspective. We have so many parents that are struggling, and all that they need is this, is the whole of this, right? So please kindly help us to share this with parents on your platform so that they can also benefit. Thank you, Sister Fatima, Sister Rafia Tomadasola. Thank you for always coming through. Sister Amina, Abdullah. Thank you so much for joining me. If we do not have questions, I think it's okay for us to call it a session today. Oh, I had messages here and I couldn't read them. Okay, it was just a recap of what I was saying. Yes, have realistic expectation. Thank you so much for writing all of those out, Miss Ikma. I really do appreciate it. Jazakumullah khairan. I don't think there are questions. There's nobody typing. Okay, since there are no questions, I think it's okay for us to call it, a session. Did you get value? Please share with me in the comment section. Even after this session, share with me in the comment section. Did you get value? How was it for you? Was it as expected? Share with me, and let's also share it with other parents who are still thinking about joining, or not. Right? I mean, one for Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you so much, Sister Nimat. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to end the live session right now, and I'll see if messages comes in, even if there are questions. Inshallah, I'm going to take my time to actually go through them, inshallah, and I will give you the desired responses. Thank you so much for joining me. See you again next week Friday, inshallah. Like I always say, don't leave session like this without having an action plan. Go with something that you're going to be, that you're going to be looking into by the end of this session. And may Allah assist all of us. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you again next week, inshallah. Amin wa antum fa jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.